my last episode, I did a reaction video about the Qatar Airways business class food made by Simply Dumpling. So on today's video, I just thought that just to make it fair, I'm gonna be making a video about the economy class of Qatar Airways. As I was browsing through YouTube, I saw tons and tons of video about travel vloggers traveling with Qatar Airways, and I came across this one interesting video where they traveled for 16 hours in economy class. But before we begin, let me just give a quick shout out to Erica Reyes. Thank you very much for being a very solid subscriber ever since I started my channel. And of course to Natalie J, please don't forget to subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. That is Natalie J. This video was uploaded by FlightExperience. It's a 15-minute video that sums up his entire 16-hour journey. Imagine 16 hours inside an aircraft from Doha to Auckland. So he's on board the 777-200. This is a Boeing aircraft. Boeing is originally from the US. The capacity of this aircraft is 42 in business class and 217 in economy. It's fairly less compared to the other aircrafts that we have, but this one is the type of aircraft that Qatar Airways usually uses whenever they do ultra long haul flights like Sao Paulo, Los Angeles, and this one also, Doha to Auckland. 15 hours 55 minutes flying time. So this is the Hamad International Airport. It's not too crowded. Obviously this is pre-COVID, so you don't see anybody really wearing masks. At one point, the Doha-Auckland flight held the record for the longest flight in the entire world. So Hamad International Airport is the hub of Qatar Airways, and he's right, it's one of the best airports in the world. This is the iconic teddy bear. This is what welcomes you in the departure area. It's right at the center. And this is the shopping area, the duty free. You have a lot of choices. So he is now boarding the train that brings you to Terminal D and E. Well, you can walk, but sometimes if you're in a rush, you can wait for this train as well, and it takes you from Terminal A, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, up to Terminal D and E, because it's quite a long walk. Boarding at 2 a.m. It seems like since he's going on a bus, the aircraft that they're going to be using for this flight is parked in a remote bay. There's no aero bridge. You're going to be boarding the aircraft through stairs. 777-200LR, Alpha 7 Bravo Bravo Fox. Yes, like what I said, 42 seats in business and 217 in economy class. It's nice that he's just taking videos. All his videos are mostly pointed towards the floor. I guess he's just trying to preserve the privacy of the flight attendants and other customers as well. So this is the economy class. Oops, let me pause it right there. This is the economy class of Qatar Airways. So as you can see, the seats are all burgundy. This is the pillow that you get, and you also get your blanket. I have a feeling that this is not a full flight. And you know why? Because you are supposed to get your amenity kit right over there, like on top of the blanket. That is where you're supposed to get the amenity kit. The amenity kit contains your socks, a lip balm, toothbrush, eye shield, and earplugs. So if the load of the flight does not exceed 80% of the total capacity, all these amenity kits will be given by hand, meaning the flight attendants will be carrying them in disposable boxes after all customers are on board. So let's see if they just forgot or they did not have time to preset the amenity kits, or if they're going to be giving it out later on. Obviously, you're supposed to get your headsets as well on the seat inside the seat pocket. If it's not in the seat pocket, that gives you a clue that the load of the aircraft is less than 50% of the capacity. So that's a clue for you next time you travel. If you see all these things on your seat, you can say that, I don't think it's a full flight. So let's go ahead. So it's a 3-3-3 configuration. So 3 on the left side, 3 on the right side, and then 3 at the center. 28 kilo. I wouldn't say it's really a perfect seat, but maybe he wanted a window seat. Perhaps he requested for 3 seats after maybe knowing that it's not really a full flight. So as you can see right here, that's the cargo door, so it means he's seated on top of the cargo. This is the refreshing towel that we give out to customers after boarding, once all the customers are on board, and that's the Oryx logo. That is the amenity kit I was talking about. So they distributed the amenity kits. Very nice, as he said. Those are the contents that I was discussing to you a while ago. Yeah, I would say it's pretty good. I would personally always just use the eye shield. And you get headphones, blanket, pillow on every seat. Okay, so they experienced a little bit of delay. That's too sad. And this is the old safety video, because the new video is with the football stuff and all. Okay, that's the name of the engine, GE90. That is the menu that you're gonna get when you're in economy. And this is given out right after takeoff. So you get your appetizer, mains, dessert, light refreshment. It tells you basically whatever you're gonna have for the entire flight. Breakfast. So by the color of the cover, you can tell that he ordered for a vegetarian option. This is the pasta with tomato, whatever. And that's the couscous salad. And caramel cheesecake. Actually, this is not too bad. The caramel cheesecake is not that bad. It's just the right amount of sweetness. You get your bread roll, your cheese, butter, and a small cuplet of water on your tray. And then obviously you can ask for any other drinks that you would like. On board Qatar Airways, they do serve alcoholic beverages, and everything is free of charge. But let me just highlight that our body wouldn't take alcohol the same way it would on ground compared to when you are on board the aircraft, for the reasons that the oxygen level is really not the same. So if you're somebody who couldn't really tolerate a lot of alcohol on ground, maybe you could think twice before having more than 2 glasses of wine or 2 cans of beer on board the aircraft. So what are the alcohols they serve in economy? There's beer, there's red wine, white wine, champagne, there's spirits as well. Whiskey, gin, brandy, vodka. Did I miss out on anything? Yeah, I think those are the alcoholic beverages that are served on board in economy class Qatar Airways. Legroom is not as bad as the other airlines, but if you're somebody tall, please do the flight attendants a favor and ask at the check-in counter for a larger legroom, because if the flight is full, the only thing we can do for you is to help you ask the other customers if they can exchange seats with you, but we can't really promise you that we can, kick other customers and tell them, hey, you're short, so it's okay, you get the other seats, because probably they have reasons why they requested for that. So please, if you're somebody tall, if you have a leg injury, please request for seats that have larger leg room prior to boarding. The headrest is adjustable, so you can lift that make it higher or lower, adjust that to your comfort. This is the IFE, or the in-flight entertainment system of this aircraft. It's AVOD, audio video on demand, meaning you can play any movies anytime you like. What are the usual problems in the entertainment system of this aircraft or any other aircraft is that it gets stuck, or it just stops working in the middle of the flight. It gets blacked out. So the only thing you need to do is to call your flight attendant, press that attendant call button, and request for them to reset the screen. We usually do that for 3 times, and if it doesn't work, what we do is, if we try to move you to other seats if there are any empty seats, or basically we will try to move heaven and earth for you so that you're gonna be entertained for the rest of the flight if, God forbid, that screen stops working altogether. Another common problem that we face in economy, and I think this is worth sharing, is to recline or not to recline your seat. Because I have encountered this so many times, especially in long-haul flights. That's why I told you I don't really like doing flights that are longer than 14 hours, because people get cranky, and when they get cranky, they want to eat the flight attendants alive and not the customers. And the usual thing that they fight about is the reclining of the seat, because some people really don't like to recline their seat, so they expect the people in front of them, the passenger in front of them, to not recline their seat as well. So what is the solution when we encounter stuff like this? So this is how the scenario goes. A customer will call me, excuse me, my legroom is not that big, and the customer in front, she has already reclined her seat for the longest time, the entire flight, and I can't even move. Can you please ask her? And sometimes they get a little bit violent and they start pushing, and then the customer in front gets really angry, like, hey, why are you pushing? And now you have a cat fight on board your flight, on board the aircraft. So what I usually do is I tell them, okay, I will try to speak to the customer in front, but I cannot promise the customer, I cannot promise you that that customer will say yes, because everybody on board the aircraft has the right to recline their seat. So if you would like to recline your seat as well, you may feel free to do so. The only times that a flight attendant can tell other customers to put their seat upright is during takeoff, landing, and during meal time. So if they want to recline it, they can. So we can't really stop them. The most we can do is to request them if they're kind enough. Sometimes, more often than not, they would say, okay, no problem, just to avoid the argument on board the flight. And sometimes they're just too tired. But there are people who get a little bit petty and they really argue about small things like this. So he got a couple of snacks, and this is from the movie snacks. Like right after the first meal service, we go around, we give out bottles of water, and then a couple of hours after that, we start giving out movie snacks like this, like cookies, something very small for the customers to munch on, so that they don't get bored, they don't get hungry and extra cranky, because when people are hungry, they get crazy. So my suggestion, when you're traveling in the future, try to, especially if you're gonna be traveling on long flights like this, try to get yourself a couple of snacks at the airport if you have time. Or you can simply go to the flight attendants at the back and ask them if they have something light to eat, because it's not good for you to get hungry on board the aircraft as well, because your sugar might go low, which may result to a medical emergency, and we don't want that. So for sure, the flight attendants will try to do something or try to prepare something so that you don't get completely hungry. I completely agree that Qatar Airways has really good selections of movies on board. They have games as well, but sometimes I'm able to watch the latest movies when I am on board the aircraft as a passenger, because they try to update it as much as they can. So you have options for kids, you have the Holy Quran, and then you have the moving maps as well, so you can see where you are at exactly in the world. And they have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not free. The first 1 hour is free though, and then for the rest of the flight, you'll have to pay for it. So now it's time for breakfast. It was served 1 hour 30 minutes prior to landing, which is just right, just about the standard. Usually I would allot 2 hours prior to landing, which is off standard, but I want to allow the customers a little bit more time to unwind right after they have their breakfast, so that they will have more time to, you know, freshen up, because after the breakfast service or the service before landing, it gets really busy and the queue in the toilets get really long. So I would usually add like 30 more minutes. The standard is 1 hour 30 minutes prior to top of descent, which is 2 hours before landing. So I would usually do 2 hours 30 minutes before the landing time, so just so I can give the customers enough time to freshen up and wake up and do whatever they want to do before landing. Moving forward, he's having the pancakes. Not really the best option. Personally, I don't really like the pancakes we have on board. It tends to be a little bit dry, but this one looks like it has been heated properly. The compote is still there. Now it's time for landing, and that's the end of his 16-hour journey with Qatar Airways in economy. I would say it's not that bad. Obviously, we weren't there, but he was lucky that it's a light load flight. From what I have been hearing, Doha-Auckland and Auckland-Doha, or vice versa, is a flight that is not so stressful. It's rarely full. And the customers are really nice. I just didn't get the chance to do this flight. Like what I said, I've never requested for Doha Auckland flight because it's too long for me, and a lot of people already request for this flight and it's quite difficult to get it, so I don't want to waste my bid for a flight that I'm sure I'm not gonna get. So that's why I don't really bid for it. But yeah, there you go. That sums up your experience of flying with Qatar Airways on economy class. If there's one comment I could make, I would say that for a 16-hour flight, I don't think there is enough food on this flight, because imagine after takeoff you're gonna get dinner. If you're just gonna have the pasta, it's not really heavy, and then you're gonna get a bottle of water and a couple of snacks, and then in the middle we might give out, maybe he was sleeping, I'm not so sure, we give out sandwiches as well. But during this sandwich service, we don't wake the customers up, because some of them, they get angry and upset that, you know, you're waking me up for just a piece of sandwich. So just to make it a standard for everybody, if it's a sandwich service and you are sleeping, we don't wake you up, just, you know, to allow you to maximize your rest on board the flight. Now, if you wake up and you feel hungry, you can always go to the flight attendants and ask for a sandwich. And then again, 1.5 hours prior to landing, you will get your breakfast. So it's not really a lot of food. So my suggestion, like what I said, try to bring your own food if the customs allow it. Buy something at the airport, something light, especially if you're traveling with children. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope I was able to share with you a few tips when you're traveling in economy class, and I hope you learned a couple of things here as well. And if you have any requests for a reaction video in the future, just let me know. This has been Days with Kat. I will see you next time. Bye.